Assalamu alaikum everyone. We are live with our session, The Winning CV, and my name is Mushfiq Hussain. Uh, a very warm welcome to all of you, those who are joining us on this session, and Ramazan Mubarak to everyone, and may Allah keep us safe during this pandemic situation that is going all around in the world. So, this build initiative was actually taken to connect all the engineers, be it in the industry or maybe in the academia, students and the faculty both. So those of you who have not seen the video, our last video, they can see that video to get more details about build. But what we discussed in the last video was that we'll define some categories for our session. So we've defined four different categories of our sessions, and the first one is the life learnings from the gurus and the experts that are there in the industry. So we know a lot of individuals, those who have served for maybe 30 or 35 years in the industry, and they want to share some of the experiences of their lives with the young engineers and the students. So the first category is to have live sessions from these experts. The second category that we have identified is the industrial technologies, and we would like you to know about the new emerging technologies in the industry, and so any technical topics will be covered in this particular category. The third one is the career counseling. There are a number of individuals, those who want to help you out on the career counseling bit, and the third category is about that. The last one is about the skills for success, and this particular session is all about that skills that you need to be successful in life and in any organization. And we are fortunate to have Mr. Tahir Khan with us. He's an executive coach based in UK, but he travels all around the world. He's been to Pakistan multiple times. I think every year he travels to Pakistan on a couple of occasions. So my first interaction with Tahir was back in, I think, 2016 or 17, when he was there in Angro for a session. And I'm really impressed with Tahir and his ability to take the session along, and his grip on the communication skills and the interview skills, CV writing. And so I hope this session will be a very good session for all of us. And what I'll do is that I'll be just moderating the session, and it will take an hour or so for this session. And any questions that comes up in your mind, you can just post them on the comments of this live stream, and I'll pick those questions from there, and I'll have them answered from Tahir. Then I have also some questions for Tahir based on the feedback that I've got from some engineers. So it'll be a very fruitful discussion. So over to Tahir now. Tahir.
Assalamu alaikum everybody, and Ramadan Mubarak sabko. It's a pleasure to be here today. This is probably my, I think, fourth or fifth session on this topic I've done over the last couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to the questions. Basically, I want you to ask as many questions as possible relating to CVs, resumes. Okay. So I don't want to talk too much theory. I want to go straight into practical stuff, Mushfiq. So if you could literally start throwing questions at me, because theory mein bahut bol sakta hu. But I want this to be a very practical session, so it's fruitful for the people we have. So if you could first find out from the audience, are we having, from what you know, are these experienced people or are these students? Can we have maybe comments? Can we have comments from the box? Ask them if they're experienced or students, just so we can see from our comment box. Or do you know?
So Tahir, people are still joining in, and as soon as we get a handsome amount of audience, I'll give you a feedback that the audience is more about the experienced staff or maybe the engineers. I think it will be a blend of young engineers and students from the university.
All right. So why don't we do this then? Firstly, let's talk about basically a lot of people. So I get asked millions of questions by a lot of people, dunya mein. And Pakistan mein, one of the common questions I get asked in the early stages of dialogue is, ye resume kya hai? CV kya hai? Resume kya hai? So what is the difference between these two documents? That's one of the common questions I often get asked. So, Mushfiq, do you know the difference between a CV and a resume? Aapko pata hai? As an experienced manager who hires?
Not at all. Because what I feel is that some people used to say CV, and some of the companies they refer to as
Acha.
resume.
All right.
Yeah.
So, देखो, regarding the definition, CV मैं आपको बताता हूँ is short for curriculum vitae, which is a Latin word which means story of one's life. ठीक है? Or resume is a French word and it literally means summary. So, if you look at definitions, by definition, the CV is more detailed, okay, in content as opposed to the resume. लेकिन reality क्या है? Reality ये है, if we're talking about Pakistan, okay, CV and resume generally means the same thing. Okay, it's the same document. All right, it's a document which is used, okay, by companies. They scan this document to see whether they want to basically interview or not. Whether you like it or not, it's harsh reality. ये जो document है is often one of the main deciders. इस बंदे को मैंने interview करना है या नहीं करना. Okay, it's your marketing tool. Okay, it's your marketing flyer. It's critical that it's done well. And I'm sorry to say, in the last 2 weeks, मैंने कोई पता नहीं 20 से 26 CVs मैंने देखे हैं as a voluntary exercise, and I would say 99% of the CVs, 99% of the CVs came into the 95% category of rejections. I would only have accepted maybe 5%, and I'm talking about not only me, most of the hiring companies, because they were written so poorly. They were very poor. So I stress to you again, whether you're a student or whether you're a experienced person, whether you're 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, ये document critical है. And this document, not only does it help you obviously get an interview, if you do it well, it's also one of the main tools which is used during the interview.
Yeah.
So, जितना आप तवज्जो देंगे, जितना इसको सीरियस लेंगे, जितना इनको टाइम देंगे, your chances will increase many-fold. Okay, and I'm talking about having written CVs for 25 years. All right, 25 years, not a joke, right?
Yeah,
25 years I've been writing CVs. It's not a joke. That's pretty serious. And I've been seeing a trend over the, like in the basic, जो बुनियाद चीजें, they are the same irrespective किस country में आप रहते हैं. And within Pakistan, I've been doing CVs for 16 years. Like in dunia mein 25 years. All right, like in the principles are the same. So that's just a bit of background. ये जो document है, एक critical है. इसको आप सही तरीके से लिखना है. And today, based on the questions, I'm going to share with you best practices क्या है. How to increase your chances of getting an interview, because that is the ultimate objective of a CV. Mushfiq?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize the objective of the CV is to get an interview. So whatever you write on the CV has to be of interest to the recruiting company, to the hiring manager. ये बहुत important है. And remember this golden rule, everybody. I'll tell you now. Whatever you write on your CV, you need to differentiate between must know versus nice to know.
Yeah.
So must know is basically mandatory. And your nice to know जो लोग करते हैं ना, this is known as fluff, which a lot of CVs have a lot of fluff. We want concrete information which is going to be of value to the reader. That's a bit of background I want to share with you. You have, I see some, I've actually got my phone on my right, so I've got my laptop here on my phone, and I can see questions are now flying.
Yeah. So one question from Hamza was that, is it important to give a cover letter along with your CV?
Okay, this is a good question, Hamza. Hamza ne kaha?
Yeah, Hamza.
Yeah, Hamza, good question. Dekho, nowadays, many companies, what I've observed, and I've worked with a lot of organizations as a coach, as a trainer, they don't ask for cover letters now. Both companies cover letter mangte hain. However, if they're not asking, then you don't have to give. End of story. Obviously, if they request you to give a cover letter, then you have to give one. It only becomes important if they are asking. And most companies now, they don't actually ask for cover letters from what I've seen. So hope that answers the question.
Yeah. So there is one more question from Hamza that how about this ATS and how does it work? Does it take the keywords from your resume and
all right,
CV?
this is now getting advanced already. The questions are coming fast. So, देखो, automated tracking systems, okay?
Yeah.
If a company is using it, now again in Pakistan, I don't know how many companies use ATS. In fact, do Angro use ATS? Aapko pata?
I'm not sure because maybe HR when they invite the application, they might have this access.
Okay. Descon में आपको पता है Descon में करते हैं कि नहीं करते?
No, Descon में use नहीं करते no.
Acha. So I'm not sure which companies are using. A lot of the companies I've worked with, and I've worked with the big ones, Engros, ICAs, I've worked with Descon, National Foods, UEP, within Pakistan, GSK, Pfizer, is kism ka companies, Midas, as far as I know, have never told me they're using it. But what the information I share with you, typically on best writing practicing, will work in most ATS systems. Okay. And yes, keywords is one of the things that ATS looks at. So that's correct.
Okay.
So the answer is yes to that question. So what else? What other questions you have? Again, I want to keep this very practical.
One question from SN is that how do you see the importance of CV format? Should it be a very simple kind of a format or
okay?
Excellent.
Acha, ये बहुत important question है, and this is something which I need to clarify to people. देखो, whatever format you use, and by the way, there are millions of formats. आप नेट में जाओ, गूगल में टाइप करो CV format, resume format, बहुत formats हैं. Whichever format you use, it has to be, number one, easy to read, easy to follow. Okay, things like clear headings, bold headings, bold your dates, making sure it's aligned, making sure you use bullet points. Okay, so make it again. I repeat: if you use clear headings, well aligned, use a systematic approach. Okay.
Yeah.
It will be pleasing to the eye, and it will be ATS also qualified. Avoid colors. Avoid using graphics. Okay, this often makes a CV a bit messy. कोई लोग करते हैं, ये करते हैं, वो double इस्तेमाल करते हैं, they write stuff to the left, stuff to the right. This is difficult to follow for a lot of managers. So I'd say avoid that. Stick to singular, okay, and structured.
Yeah.
Singular structured. Content critical है. लेकिन single and structured is the best way when it comes to formatting. दो किस्म के CVs है. Typically, you find मुशफिक दो किस्म के CVs है. Since सवाल पूछा है हमारे दोस्त ने, भाई ने, एक chronological CV है, जो basically focus करता है on your achievements that you've had in the similar career. एक चीज ये है, ठीक है? Typically reverse chronological कहते हैं. Also known as a performance-based CV. और दूसरा CV है, which is commonly known as a skill-based CV, which is often used by people who want to highlight the expertise. Now, I'll have to go and research this because it'll take too long to explain, right? So go and research where they highlight the expertise in certain areas. Aside or let's say you're an expert, in 5 different areas, and you want to highlight those for the position you're applying for. It can be technical and non-technical. You want to highlight your leadership skills. You want to highlight your expertise in mechanical engineering. You want to highlight your expertise in strategic management. So वो skills highlight करते हैं, फिर उससे नीचे वो सबूत लिखते हैं where they actually have developed the skill by using achievements. We'll talk more about achievements. ये बहुत critical है, और 99% of CVs जो मैंने देखे are not achievement based, and this is a big sin. So there's some tips on formatting. And again, what is the ideal format? इसमें कोई ideal format नहीं, लेकिन ideal content है. Format, again, You can find millions online. Okay.
Yeah.
What I suggest is avoid the word for formats. Go into companies who are offering CV writing services who share example formats. Okay, they'll be probably more relevant, more stronger, more practical. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah. So I've got one more question from Ruhail Pinji, who's quite an experienced engineer. He asked that should resume be only of a single page or should be of a couple of pages? How many pages are acceptable?
Acha, okay, Rahel, good question, a very common question. And as I said, by definition, resume typically would be shorter.
Yeah.
In Pakistan, sir, nowadays you find most companies, whether they ask for resume or CV, 2 pages is the optimum ideal length. 2 pages. ये कम भी हो सकता है, लेकिन कोशिश करना 2 से ऊपर नहीं. क्यों? Think about it for 1 second. Rahel, think about it. You send a CV to a company, उनके पास बहुत CVs होते हैं. And a lot of companies, they look by the naked eye, right? They check CVs by the naked eye. आपको पता वो कितना टाइम लगाते हैं CVs देखने का on average? So मैंने research किया था within Pakistan. West में छोड़ दे because the numbers are slightly different. Pakistan on average, any idea, Mushfiq, how much time managers at the initial stage, वो कितना time लगाते हैं CVs को scan करने का? आपको अंदाजा है?
I think very small amount of time, maybe less than a minute or so for a CV.
Okay. So in Pakistan, on average, about 15 to 20 companies who I did ask, it took in between 1 to 2 minutes.
Okay.
West में 3 seconds. If you look at LinkedIn research, कोई 5 second कहते हैं, कोई 10 second कहते हैं. So 1 to 2 minutes. So if you have more than 2 pages, they're going to struggle. And I'll be honest with you, most of the people, they focus only on the top half of the CV. The top half of is in the naked eye, the top half. Bulani. So the answer to your question is, you can go to maximum 2 se upar nahi jana. If you want to do 1, you can do well and good. But if you're an experienced person, you may not be highlighting really what you have to offer. Hope that answers the question.
So एक ताहिर चौधरी साहब हैं हमारे एंग्रो में, उन्होंने स्पेसिफिकली पूछा है कि जब the top of your CV is so important, so how should you take that? How conscious you should be for the top part of your CV?
Very conscious. ये basically सोच आपका elevator pitch है. Elevator pitch आपको पता क्या होता है?
नहीं, आप थोड़ा explain करें.
You know, when you go in an elevator, how long an elevator comes from the bottom to how long it takes? Let's say average let's say it takes 30 seconds. Yeah. You get in an elevator with somebody else, you meet someone first time. Okay, by the time the elevator starts, it gets to the end, you have a time to basically introduce yourself, and by the end of the call, they want to meet you again. So you're almost like you're pitching yourself to have another meeting. 30 seconds. So basically a CV, basically. CV, exactly. the top half, they're looking at your CV, they want to see that they want to meet you. So therefore, the top half of the CV is very important. You have a very strong profile. Okay, the top half, the profile at the top. Under your name and everything, you have a profile section or a section of that profile. Also, niche log skills likhte hain. Yeah, the profile and skills should have certain keywords which will match what person is looking for.
So it's very important. So the top part of your profile and the skills that you are giving in the just below your profile.
Yeah, very important. Whether it's because ATS also picks information up from here.
Exactly. And
the naked eye also picks up information from here. And obviously they start looking at your first job. What's the job? Pala job. The job you are currently doing or your last job. You know, and then they look, what has a person achieved? They start looking for numbers. They start looking for achievements. Is bande ne kya kiya? Did they contribute to anything? Did they initiate anything? Did they manage anybody? Did they implement anything? Did they instigate anything? So they start looking for these things in the jobs, okay? Especially in the.
Noman is asking, do you recommend an achievement-based CV or do you recommend a chronological sort of an order?
Chronological is achievement-based.
Okay.
It's the same thing. Noman, it's the same thing. Dekho, Noman, if you're applying for this in the same industry and you want to show steady career progression, okay, then you stick to chronological performance basing. Because you want to show your steady career path and how you've been, promoted over the years, or as you're getting to more senior positions, and you've shown your achievements. Okay. The other CV is typically used by people who may be coming from a different industry, who maybe been laid off. All right. And students often use skill-based CVs.
Okay. So, how about putting up a photo of your photo on your CV? Is it a good thing, or what do you think about that?
कैसर अब्बास ने पूछा.
हाँ जी, ये पूछा है बिल्कुल जी. कैसर अब्बास ने पूछा है.
I'll be interested to ask him why would someone put a photograph on. I'll be interested to see what he says. देखो, reality ये है, West में लोग फोटो नहीं लगाते. इसका reason क्या है? Is basically not put on because, in fact, companies cannot ask you. It's against the law. Illegal है. Illegal है to put a photo on because it can be used as a discrimination tool.
Okay.
Yes, because maybe the color, the way that someone looks can be discriminated against, right? Just from the photograph. People could be biased. Photograph causes bias. So why would you want to send your photograph? Why would you want to send your photograph when you know it could create bias? Unless you think you're a supermodel and you think, man, itna handsome, I'm very attractive, I will get an interview. Then obviously your bias is different. मैं आपको मजे की बात बताता हूँ. Once I was training a company in Karachi, and ये discussion आ गया था. Somebody in the audience ने पूछा था, should we put a photograph of? And most people said, नहीं. एक लड़की थी, उसने कहा, my husband puts a photograph on his CV all the time. And everyone started looking at HR लड़की थी, very nice girl. Because my husband, and the funny thing is, I know her husband as well. वो एक और company में काम करता था. And I said, oh yeah, why is that? She goes, because he's very handsome, and it works in his favor. So therefore, there is a bias element and looking at photographs. So my answer is, do not put your photograph on unless somebody has asked you. Okay, even though if they ask you in the West, you don't have to by law. But in Pakistan, Allah तेरी यारी है, जो मर्जी कर सकते हैं आप. Lekin, my advice is don't give anyone a chance to say no. So don't send a photograph on that basis.
So, Qazi is asking, how would you, maybe you can give an outline of a sample sort of a resume or a perfect CV. How should it look like?
No such thing as a Qazi, no such thing as a perfect CV. CVs are tailor-made for every position. However, what I can tell you is what a good CV should have. How about that? Mushfiq, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's good.
What does a good CV have? That's probably more relevant question. Yeah. The 2 or 3 things, if you ask me, experience लोगों की बात कर रहे हूँ. Experience लोगों की 3 चीज लाजमी होना चाहिए CV का. Number 1, you should have a strong profile. In the profile, you should have, and in the profile, what do you have? You have, I'll give you the summary of tips after मैंने एक list बनाया. Okay. Profile strong होना चाहिए. Who you are, what you have to offer, and what you're looking for. Okay. पहली चीज ये. दूसरी चीज ये है, you need to make sure your CV is achievement based. I repeat. मैं बार-बार ये repeat कर रहा हूँ. Your CV needs to be achievement based. You need to stress what you've actually achieved in your jobs and do not cut and paste your job description. मुशफिक, मैंने इतने CV देखे हैं and आपने भी देखा है. लोग आपका cut and paste करते JDs करते हैं. I'm not interested in your JD. Companies are not interested in your JD. They're interested in what you have done. They're interested in your performance. आपने क्या किया है, फिर उसके बाद what was the result? They're interested in performers, not regurgitated job descriptions. So that's the second thing, which is critical. You focus on your achievements in your jobs. ये दूसरी चीज है, लाजमी होना चाहिए, and also obviously relevant trainings or certifications. relevant, again, I'm talking about experienced people here. जब आपने कोई relevant trainings लिया, professional training courses लिया, जिसमें आपने interview skills लिया, शायद आपने कोई decision making training लिया, शायद आपने कोई technical information लिया, working, special training working on, turbines or working on certain machinery within fertilizer plants or whatever, yeah? So,
Yeah.
relevant trainings. And maybe for some positions, obviously, education, right? जितना और experience आप हैं, your education becomes less important. Obviously, if you're a fresh student, education becomes more important. When you're an experienced person, your performance, your achievements become more important. So these three areas जो मैंने जिक्र किया, ये लाजमी होना चाहिए CV का. There are more information you must put on, but these are three mandatory, and you need to do it well. Okay, बोलना नहीं. This is, I can't stress you how important this is. I was doing a CV recently for a client in Barcelona. Very experienced lady. उसके पास कोई पता नहीं कोई 20 साल experience था. Nothing. It was empty. All I did was I sorted the profile out, the achievements, and the education courses side. Now A class, fantastic CV. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah. So there is one more question. What I've seen in the comments. Do you see a difference between the Middle East recruiters and the European recruiters? How they see?
Excellent question. ये किसने पूछा?
ये जनाब है हमारे सलमान अहमद है, एंग्रो पॉलीमर्स में होते हैं.
Salman Ahmed, Angro Polymer Zindabad. Done a lot of work with them in the past, and they're a great company. Acha, now dekho. It depends who's recruiting you in the Middle East. देखो मिडिल ईस्ट में कौन आपको हायर करे? अरबी हायर आपको कर रहे हैं. HR में कौन बैठा है? पाकिस्तानी बैठे हैं, इंडियन बैठे हैं, लेबनीज बैठे हैं, यूके इंग्लिश बैठे हैं, अमेरिकन बैठे हैं, स्पेनिश बैठे हैं. Middle East, there's no fixed rule. I've heard people say that जब मिडिल ईस्ट में अप्लाई करते हैं वो फोटो मांगते हैं. For example, मैं एक छोटा एग्जांपल आपको बता रहा हूँ. And ये गोरे होते हैं. लेकिन गोरे, if these same गोरे were sitting in their countries, they cannot ask. So Middle East is a mixed batch. It's a mixed batch. But I would request you again, when you apply to any country, go for the 2-page optimum rule and focus on the 3 things I just told you. Because this works in dunya mein ye chalta hai. Profile, work achievements, and education/professional trainings. This dunya mein ye chalta hai. How much you write, kitna depth mein aap jate hain, it could vary country to country. The Middle East is a mixed batch. There is no fixed rule in the Middle East. There's no fixed rule. And I've worked in Qatar. I've done training there. I've trained in Dubai. I've trained in Kuwait. I've trained in Iran. I've trained in Saudi. So I've had the experience of working as a trainer, as a coach in these countries. In Turkey. Sure. Another question.
So Tahir, there is one question that comes up to my mind. What are the common mistakes that people make while they are making their CVs?
Okay.
What are general mistakes?
Excellent. Let me give you the classic ones. Okay. And often when I go to universities, मैं ये बच्चे को पढ़ाता हूँ. Whether you're experienced or student, it seems to be similar. The principles are similar. Yeah. Number 1. Again, this is the top of my head because I didn't write this, but it's the top of my head. In fact, let me just, if I get my top winning tips, then I can remember. Pehli cheez ye hai, you find a lot of CVs have irrelevant content. Number 1, sin. Number 2, it's no particular order. I'm just telling you, right? It's no particular order. Number 2, the CVs are cut and paste. Ye achievements nahi likhte. For an experienced person, this is the number 1 sin. Number 1. And it's the hardest thing to do, by the way. Let me tell you that as well. Okay, what else do we find? You find CVs actually have poor formatting. They look ugly. मुशफिक, आपने कितने CVs देखे? आपने देखे सोचे ये फजूल क्या चीज है?
Yes, I think first impression is very important.
Yeah. First impressions last, and you do not get a second chance to give a first impression.
That's beautiful.
लिख लो सब सुनने मेरी गल. First
Sir,
time they look
what
at CV, the
recording
impression is,
is
sorry?
the session is being recorded. We'll see it again and again.
Yeah, baat hai. So देखो, you find some CV, so the formatting is poor, it looks ugly, there's no achievements, is irrelevant content, is fluff. ये भी major sin है. CVs get rejected. CVs में spelling and grammar mistakes होते हैं. Okay, this is another reason. The CVs are not relevant to what the jobs people have applied for. A lot of people, what you find is वो generic CV सबको भिजवाते हैं. I know some people in HR, they sit down, अक्सर मुझे कहते हैं, some companies वो कहते हैं, एक CV कल मुझे मिला HR में, उसमें दोबारा CV भेजो operations में. We got the same CV again for sales. We got the same CV again for this position, that position, and the same CV kept coming back to the HR person. So the CVs are not tailored; they're generic. Okay, they're difficult to read, so people don't bother. Okay, these are the main reasons why CVs get rejected typically. Okay, some CVs are actually too long as well. कोई ऐसे लोग भी होते हैं कि CV 4-5-6 pages भी होते हैं. कल मैंने एक CV देखा था, उस बंदे के 6 pages था. And he had about 14 years experience. 6 pages. Oh, मैं क्या भाई गाल सुन, I have 28 years experience, I can get on 2. And as an engineer, engineers are the best. For those engineers watching, I've done a lot of work with, as Mushfiq knows, I've done a lot of work with engineers. Experience बंदे के छोड़ दे, उस students के पास 3-4 pages होते हैं. I've been to NED, I've been to UET Lahore, I've been to GIK is a bit better, I've been to NAST, I've been to University Punjab, okay, I've been to other universities, but I'm talking about engineering, Dawood Engineering, NAST वो जो कराची भी है, कोई बच्चे के CV 3-4 pages होते हैं. वो बेचारे क्यों उनको समझा रहे हैं? एक्सपीरियंस को छोड़ दे, पहले बच्चे को ठीक है ना, फिर हम एक्सपीरियंस को ठीक करते हैं.
अच्छा ताहिर, अब ये बात हो रही है तो थोड़ा सा ये बताइए कि हाउ वुड यू सी CV ऑफ अ फ्रेश ग्रेजुएट, बिकॉज आपने अभी बात की कि वो 3 पेजेस का या 4 पेजेस का उसने बना दिया. सो व्हाट आर सम ऑफ द इंग्रेडिएंट्स ऑफ अ CV ऑफ अ फ्रेश ग्रेजुएट?
देखो, fresh graduate, again I repeat, fresh graduate can be, again, optimum 2 pages. Let's be clear, graduates, you don't have to do 1 page. Graduates, but no, or fresh people, maximum 2. If it's less, it's okay, but maximum 2. 1, so you don't have to do 1. I've seen some top universities in Pakistan, they're telling their students 1 mein hona chahiye. Nay, that's not correct if we go by rules within companies who look at CVs. Okay, but if you can get it on 1, well and good. ग्रेजुएट प्रिंसिपल सेम है मुशफिक. देखो, ग्रेजुएट का प्रोफाइल भी अच्छा होना चाहिए, ग्रेजुएट्स का एक स्किल्स भी लिखना करना चाहिए, बट दे नीड सबूत ऑफ द स्किल. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, मोस्ट ग्रेजुएट्स को नहीं पता. सो highlight a nice profile, a skill section, what skills you have to offer companies. Now, what skills? Mushfiq, आप बताओ as a hiring manager, what kind of skills do you look for in graduates typically? Look, the kind of graduate you would recruit, which is typically what? Engineers, right?
So what normally I do is that I look for the enthusiasm and the passion and the drive any graduate has, because whatever assignments, projects and internships, the experience that he has gained and how much interest was taken in those assignments and what kind of a value उसमें दी है उन प्रोजेक्ट्स के अंदर, और वो प्रोजेक्ट्स रिफ्लेक्ट करते हैं, they give you a hint that these skills are there in that particular guy.
Okay, so what you're saying is you're asking for evidence, right? You're asking evidence of what they have done through projects, through activities, maybe it's voluntary work, maybe it could be internships. आप ये कह रहे हैं ना? Yeah, so there we go. So you want evidence. So graduates, listen carefully. When you make your claims that you have X, Y, Z skill, like for example, you're good at team working, you've got leadership skills, you've got maybe some technical skills, even as a graduate.
Yeah.
Jo Mushfiq ne kaha, this is really important. You cannot just claim you have a skill set. You have to give evidence of the skill. through projects, through activities, through extracurricular activities. Maybe you do voluntary work. You learn team working, right? You do projects, you do team working. In projects, you do presentations. In maybe you have been a captain of a team, leadership skills. Okay? So don't just say you've done something. Don't just make a claim you have a certain skill, Give evidence to support it. It's the evidence which is what makes a difference on a CV. और 95% of student CVs के पास सबूत नहीं होता. ये बस एक regurgitated information लिखते. And I've seen some CVs, people copy other CVs, their friend's CV. Once I was doing a recruitment tour with one of the companies in Pakistan, and I was looking at the CV and the same information. मैंने वो लड़के का पूछा, मैं यही किया, just and after a bit of probing they say मेरे दोस्त ने लिखा है. ऐसे लोग भी होते हैं. 16 साल हो गया, I've been visiting universities, and still I'm doing it. Look, you remember when you first told me my baby used to be black on deco? Now it's salt and pepper.
अच्छा, असद ने भी पूछा कि जी जब फ्रेश ग्रेजुएट के पास कोई एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है, so how can he prove that he is good and capable?
ये किसने कहा?
ये असद ने कहा है, और लेकिन उसका थॉट यही है, मेरा ख्याल हमने इस तरह एक्सप्लेन किया है कि प्रोजेक्ट्स और असाइनमेंट्स एंड सम एक्टिविटीज उसने की हैं, these can be examples.
Bas, Mushfiq, you've answered the question yourself. Oh, Asad, you have lots of experience as if you were active at your university time. If you were doing nothing, if you were sitting in a canteen having samosa pakode and having dal channe all the time with paratha in the morning and not studying and drinking dudh patti all the time, which sounds nice. Yeah, we're all fasting now. I shouldn't say auto, sorry. Obviously, you're going to struggle. But if you were active and you was involved, you were doing your projects, you were doing activities, you was involved in extracurricular activities, you was involved in societies, you'll have no problem. You've got more than enough. But if you've done nothing, then you better start worrying. Simple as that.
Tahir, I've got, I think, 5 or 6 questions now, so maybe we can take those questions. First of all, Esan ne पूछा कि is it good to write references?
Nowadays, nobody writes references. Esan, कोई बंदा नहीं लिखता, कोई जरूरत नहीं. पुराने ज़माने में क्या होता था? People used to write references because they were a tool used to verify information. But people now do that after. लोग क्या करते हैं? It's just a standard practice now. Is to write references available on request. Bus, maximum. It just shows that you have something available. Okay, but you don't need to write names of people now. पुराने ज़माने में, even when I used to apply for jobs, जब मैं apply करता था, I used to always have a reference of a company name, one person from a company, and I used to have one teacher name from academia. Lekin now कोई बंदा नहीं लिखता, nobody asks you. Normally, interview के बाद लोग reference मांगते हैं. So the answer is no need in this current day practice.
Okay. So the next question is from Khurram Shehzad, और उन्होंने एक hiring manager के perspective से question पूछा कि how do you see the reds in a CV when you are shortlisting the candidates?
ये आपको पता, मुश्फिक, मैं आपको ट्रेन की है.
I think आपने ये थोड़ा सा बताया भी है अभी के cluttered नहीं होना चाहिए, it should not look ugly, जो आपने ये सारी बातें की थी, जो mistakes of a CV हैं, probably that answers the question.
Yes, I think that's a. Well, very quickly, I'll just reiterate. So red flags. So again, this is good practice for those who are writing CVs. देखो, ये किसने पूछा था? कमर ने?
ये खुर्रम होते हैं ICI में.
अच्छा, Khurram, I've done a lot of work with ICI. I trained a lot of their people. In fact, not many years ago, I did about 10 workshops on interview skills, and I was teaching them how to red and green flags. देखो, Khurram, keep it simple. Number one, look for relevant. If there's no lack of achievements, is a red flag. Spelling and grammar would be red flag. Again, red flag is dependent on your perception as well. But general rule is lack of achievements, cut and paste, a poor profile, vague words, not relevant trainings, for example. Okay, these are some classic red flags on the CV. Okay.
So how about the hobbies and interest? ये हमजा ने भी पूछा है और अदील ज़िया एक होते हैं, उन्होंने भी पूछा है, FFC में अदील होते हैं. Okay. क्या extra curricular activities की, hobbies की, community service की, is it an important part?
Fantastic. fantastic if you have it. देखो, a lot of companies now, Engro ले लो, ICI ले लो, Descon ले लो, all the big shot names, Unilever, Procter Gamble, okay, Jazz, Telenor, National Foods, okay, strong brand. Most of the top companies, they all have CSR exercises. They encourage their staff to do voluntary work and get involved in activities. Okay, like for example, Engro, Citizens Foundation, Tech Karo, some of the names. So if you're already doing activities already, and you're doing voluntary work, or if you're doing hobbies, or you have interests which add value to you as a potential employee, then you must write it down, whether you're a student or whether you're experienced. 100%. 100% is my answer.
Okay,
and you
so
find a lot
Bilal,
and as you know, Mushfiq, a lot of managers, they like to probe on this as well. So if you have the information, it's a good icebreaker as well.
so Bilal Mustafa ने भी एक different question किया है. How do you see LinkedIn और उसकी क्या copy paste होना चाहिए CV को LinkedIn के ऊपर, और how should we build our LinkedIn profile?
नहीं, ये totally different topic है. I don't want to go into LinkedIn. We could be here for another 6 hours, and I don't want to go into. लेकिन बिलाल, जो आपने जो सवाल पूछा ना, let me repeat for everybody listening. LinkedIn is not your CV. It's a different tool. Socho, think like this. LinkedIn is your cover letter. If your cover letter creates interest, okay, to the reader, they will then look at your CV. And what you find is, if your LinkedIn is creating interest for whatever reason, then you will find you'll get a phone call asking for your CV. That's the rule.
Yeah.
Now, how to write LinkedIn? How does it work? How does this algorithm works on LinkedIn? We could ladder discussion. I do know, by the way, I do know how it works, but that's a totally different dialogue. But just remember, your LinkedIn is basically a snapshot of you.
Yeah.
It's enough where somebody wants to meet you or ask for your CV. Okay, I'll leave it at that, because again, I don't want to digress away from CVs.
So there is one interesting question by Saad bin Tarek. How do you present yourself differently to a startup versus a big corporation?
On a CV?
The CV के perspective से, do you think there could be a difference between applying for a startup versus a big corporation?
नहीं, देखो, whether you apply to a startup or whether you apply to a big corporation, you have to tailor your CV. And what do we mean by tailor? Mushfiq, you know what I mean by tailoring your CV?
Yeah.
आपको पता है इसका मतलब क्या है?
So you need to tailor your CV in a way that is relevant to that company where you are applying.
That company and that position.
Yeah.
So a startup will be asking for certain skill sets, a certain background. So you need to obviously adjust your CV according to what they want. If you're applying to, even if you corporate me, as you know, corporates have different values and corporates have different competency requirements. You should match what you have to what they're looking for. And then if you pass the screening test, then obviously you prepare for the interview and get ready to justify what you have written. Okay? So it doesn't matter, startup or heavy corporate companies. You tailor it according to what they are looking for. Okay? ये बहुत important चीज़ है, tailoring your CVs को कहते हैं.
Yeah. अच्छा, हसन गर्देजी फौजी फर्टिलाइजर में होते हैं. इन्होंने पूछा कि how important is it to mention the economic value of your projects and achievements? Yeah.
हसन ने जो कहा ना, बस दिल खुश कर लिया. देखो, this is performance. This is performance.
Yeah.
Ask any CEO. Go and ask any of your ex-CEOs or CFOs or the VPs or the line managers. Go and ask them. You're a line manager. You want someone who can produce the goods, someone who can give results. So if you can add numbers on your CV, you are the ultimate. You'll be of the greatest interest. So if you save money through active projects, if you've made money, if you've improved efficiency, if you've purchased something and you know which was X price and you managed to negotiate a better price, anywhere we can mention numbers. If you've been leading people, if you've been managing people, if you've hired people, mention the numbers. Because not only does the ATS system pick this information up, because ATS does look for numbers, also the naked eye gets impressed with numbers. And don't forget, Mushfiq, ये आपने भी याद करना है, जो results और performance होता है ना, it's quantitative and qualitative.
Yeah.
So you can have monetary benefit in different ways, but you can also have quantitative outcomes. Qualitative could be something you did something and you got recognition.
Yeah.
You did something and you were appreciated. You did something and you made people happy. Yeah. So you can also be qualitative outcomes.
And the skills that you have acquired over that project because of that project.
Exactly.
So there is one more question जो कि मुझे किसी ने दिया था. Should we hide the employment gaps that are there in our career profile?
देखो, this is very important question. ये मैंने कल एक dialogue पढ़ा था. There were expert CV writers having a debate on this exact question.
Yeah.
So I was reading the debate and we came to the agreement was, पहली चीज़ है, you never lie.
Yeah.
However, if you do have a gap, what will happen is it will cause doubt in the reader. Hey, and by the way, ये जो red flags जो पूछा था ना वो खुरम ने, date discrepancies is also a big red flag. Khuram, date discrepancies. Because there are two reasons for date discrepancies. Pehli cheez ye, if someone is hiding something.
Yeah.
And the other thing is lack of attention to detail. These are your two classics. So everyone, when you write your CVs, go recheck your dates. All right? If you're writing your CV, recheck your dates. Acha. Going back to the question. Where was I with the question?
Questions are hiding the gaps.
Yes. So therefore, if you have a gap, the main thing is not the gap itself. What were you doing in the gap?
Exactly.
That's the issue. Were you sitting at home watching Netflix? Were you just eating? As I said, you having your shiri pipe all day long. What were you doing? Were you doing voluntary work? Were you learning? Were you upskilling yourself? Were you helping somebody? What were you doing? That's the question here. So if you do have a gap, and also by the way, some people क्या करते हैं वो लिखते हैं, उनका month लिखते हैं तो year लिखते हैं. And obviously, someone can tell if you've written months and years, people can tell if you've worked in May and your next time you worked was in October, they can see there's a gap. So CV writers कहते हैं just write the year, so you can cover that straight away. झूठी लिख रहे हैं, you're just not mentioning the month. Make sense?
Yeah.
If you've got a massive gap, then it's better to tell them straight. It's better to tell them straight. But you can mention what you did in the gap. That's the key. Mention what you did. That's the most important thing. Then you'll be fine.
Okay. So there is one more question from Salman Siddiqui. He says if you are a chemical engineer but you do have an interest in finance and economics and stock market information and you've got the skills related to that function, should you mention those skills in your CV?
Yes.
Sorry?
Yes.
Okay.
Acha, some people are asking about how should they send a CV. So whether you should do PDF format or whether you should do a Word document. Yeah. So this is a good question. I think I saw it. Tahir Hamid has mentioned this. Therefore, ATS prefers typically Word documents. Okay. ATS typically preferred Word documents. However, some ATS systems do say PDF. So if online you're applying for a job, you can upload, look for what they tell you. So it will tell you, upload PDF or doc or whatever. They will actually tell you. So follow the instructions, okay? But when you're applying just online through when you're applying through an email, send PDF. If you want to send Word, you can, but PDF lazmi, but you should send. Because what happens is when you send a PDF, sometimes, a Word document to a lot of people, especially if you use different font, different layouts, different fonts, shad onke passport font nahi, and therefore your CV comes all characterized. Maybe you've experienced this. I don't know if you've experienced personally. Send both copies. But on the ATS systems, send what they offer you. So if they say send PDF, if they say send document, then send what they tell you. Okay? Hope that answers the question, Tahir.
So एक important question यहाँ पे जन्म ले रहा है. Any preference for font? Because कुछ लोग बहुत stylish किस्म के fonts, those which are not available easily on every PC or जो भी system वो use कर रहे हैं. So how important is to select a font?
Yeah. The font should be easy to read. That's as simple as that. And it should be appropriate size. So number one is what type of fonts? देखो आप हर रोज documents लिखते हैं in your jobs. Times Roman, Calibri, Verdana, Arial. Very easy to read fonts. Now, so that's the first thing. So easy to read. दूसरी चीज ये है, what size is also important. So on average, most people, they find comfortable reading size 11 when it comes to supporting text. And your headings or thinner, they should be bigger. So they can see where to look. So 12, 13, 14. 14 se upar nahi hona chahiye, your headings. So at least 14 maximum headings, could be 13. And your supporting text, 11 is a good size. That's a good optimum size. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. अच्छा ताहिर साहब एक क्वेश्चन जो ज़हन में आ रहा है, कॉन्टैक्ट डिटेल्स जो हैं वो आपको कितनी मेंशन करनी चाहिए? There used to be a time when father name and flana and address and permanent address and temporary address.
Okay, that's an excellent question. तो मैंने एक लिस्ट बनाया था, which I've experienced in Pakistan. Listen to me carefully now. You probably know this because you see CVs and all the people online, and I'm sure they would agree. Give us a yes, everybody, if you agree. On CVs, we see NIC. Right, yes, please, so we can see. You see NIC numbers, passport numbers, dad's name. You see religion. You see, obviously, age is quite standard. Marital status. And we have a yes for those watching, those managers who have observed this. Come on, give us some yeses.
Yes, these are some of the items that we have seen.
देखो, कोई बंदा को NIC जरूरत नहीं. Typically, all right, unless you know something I don't. No one wants to know your passport unless you're applying for a job outside Pakistan and they're asking for the passport. There we go. We've got some yeses coming now. No one really wants to know your dad's name at this stage. No one wants to know your religion unless you're applying for a job as a Maulvi or a vicar. Okay, all right. Age is interesting. Some people mention the age. Some people do not mention the age.
What do you think is best practice?
Yeah, there's no fixed practice. Some managers कहते हैं, we like to know the age or the date of birth. कोई managers कहते हैं, हमको कोई इतना interest है ही नहीं. एक student होता है, हमको वैसे अंदाजा भी है. It all depends, but generally some people like to put marital status. Experienced people, मैं देखे experience बंदे लिखते हुए उनके बच्चे भी कितने. And I know the logic. उनका logic ये है, if we mention we have children or we're married to status, shows we're responsible, blah, blah, blah. We're more mature, we'll stay around longer. That's sometimes the thought process. But you know and I know, whether you're married or unmarried, it really varies how long someone stays in a company. Aapko bhi pata hai as a manager. So again, there's nothing wrong with writing it. If you want to write it, you can, but it's not going to damage your CV if that's what you're worried about. The picture we've discussed, the religion thing, no. Dad's name, no. Domicile bhi likhte hain. Again, I don't know how that I don't know how that adds value to your CV, domicile, unless you know something I don't. So these are classic no-nos tip. Okay.
खिजर ने एक क्वेश्चन पूछा था, काफी देर पहले पूछा था. उन्होंने ये पूछा, हाउ कैन वी समराइज CV in 2 pages? Maybe it's difficult for him to summarize.
What does Hizr do? Is he very experienced?
I think he's a young lad.
Oh, young lad की फिक्र है. Young ladों की मसला है. Oh, Hizr, क्या टेंशन ला रहे यार? और कोई टेंशन नहीं. Listen to this golden rule, Hizr. Must know versus nice to know.
So Khizr is in Lodhi Fertilizers and has got 10 years of experience.
Okay, no problem. I have 28 years experience. I can get it on 2 pages. Kya masla hai? I repeat, must know versus. Okay, let's say for example. Okay, let's help him a little bit here. Okay, because most of the areas your content is because people are not spacing it properly. They're using too much gaps. They're putting too much information in their jobs. They're writing every single training course they have done. Okay, that's why you need to focus on those things, on what you've actually done. All right, focus on performance. Focus on the most recent skills you've developed. Again, must know versus nice to know. Focus on relevant information. By the way, just as a golden rule, when you've worked over 10 years as a generally, most emphasis comes on your current positions, right?
Yeah.
We look at 20 साल experience है, कोई 25 year experience भी होता है. Most people are interested in what you've done over a 10-year period. उससे पहले the people are not interested. So you don't even have to go into any detail other than where you've worked. Focus on what you've done in the last 10 years. And the most current being the most important. I hope that helped. That should help a lot of people now.
I think it's a very important point that before 10 years, whatever you have done, it has a little relevance now. So it's an important point.
Yes.
So I think we've covered all of the questions.
Ahmed Manib is watching now. Assalamu alaikum, Ahmed Bhai. Ahmed Manib, I remember very well. Angro, now he's at Angro Sim. I could see some of the people who's watching on my phone, so I recognize some of the names.
I think Askari has just joined in. You might know Askari also.
Askari, Hazur Sayyid. Assalamu alaikum. Yes. Bilal Mustafa. Assalamu alaikum. So I'll mention some of the other names.
Nadeem Lassi, इन्होंने पूछा है how long should be a CV. हमने बात कर ली है 2 pages, but yes, उन्होंने यही कहा कि जी should we tailor our CV to 2 pages. So probably the answer is yes, we should tailor our CV.
100%. Zubair ne likha, what is the standard time that a hiring manager allots to a certain CV? As I recall, it's minimal in the case that it should be. I think we mentioned that initial scanning stages, Zubair. Initial scanning stage, it varies company to company, but to the naked eye, you find in Pakistan on average 1 to 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you answered this one. Zagham, salam alaikum. Muhammad Aman, salam alaikum. Sayyid Anas, I'm not a manager, but I have seen this. Watch out, wo jo list maine zikr kiya.
Yeah. So, Tahir, I think we've taken all the question and we've been live for an hour or so now. So maybe any closing thoughts on the side?
I just want to reiterate the importance of what good practice on CVs is. Achha? I want to reiterate best practice. So call this a summary. Number 1, optimum size 2 pages. Number 2, don't forget to highlight your key skills, especially if you're a student, with evidence. Number 3, highlight your achievements. Bahut important hai. I can't stress the importance, my brothers and sisters. Tweak your CV for every position. Tailor your CV. Check your spelling and grammar. All right? Make sure you use easy to read fonts and use an easy to follow format. Again, there are millions online. Students, and for experience now, focus on relevant interests and hobbies. More and more companies are doing CSR. Okay? One more thing. I want to summarize. And listen to me carefully. This is a very strong statement what I'm going to make. Dekho. If you don't give time to this document, then don't expect the manager to give it time. If you don't respect this document, don't expect the hiring manager to respect your document. On average, if you want to write a good CV, on average, working time full, it takes at least 5 to 7 hours. 5 से 7 घंटे. मैं खुद CVs लिखता हूँ as a professional CV writer दुनिया में for clients worldwide, and I spend on average 6 to 7 hours. But then I follow a very strong, structured, really detailed process where मैं interview भी करता हूँ. लेकिन आप भी कर सकते हैं. You can do it. It's very important you get this document right. And I repeat, just because you go to, maybe you work for a good company or you go to a top university, you're not guaranteed anything. And you're not even guaranteed anything after writing a good CV. But your chances of it will increase. If you move to an achievement-based CV, your CV becomes 75% more attractive to the reader. And Mushfiq, मैं आपको दोबारा ये कह लगी हूँ. And I'm talking about the people who हमारे जो पाकिस्तानी कौम है, इस document को still इसका importance नहीं समझ इनको आता. And I can tell by looking at the quality that comes in front of me. Whether you're applying for in Pakistan or whether you're applying for outside Pakistan, still the CV is still king. Yes, LinkedIn is obviously now very important, so you need to get LinkedIn right as well. But still, they will ask you a CV. Whether you get asked, whether you send, do you know any good engineers? Blah, blah, blah. And when I look at the CVs, I don't want to forward the CV on because it's so poor. It looks bad on me as the one. Even if you're going as a reference, you still need a CV. ये बहुत important document है, CV, resume. इसको तवज्जो दो. Go online, learn more about it. If you want it professionally done, and I will say it, I am offering special COVID-19 virus rates if you're interested. Okay, but I don't do that many because it's difficult to do. But I normally just do CVs of 15 years plus experience, typically, anyway, as a business. But I suggest you all try first, make good effort. If you want a free checkup, if you want me, first, write your CV, have a practice, जो हमने जिक्र किया. You can send it to me, and I will do your free checkup. How about that, Mushfiq?
Perfect. That's a great offer.
और क्या चाहिए आपको?
Thank you so much, Tahir Sahab. Thank you so much for your time, and I can understand you've got a busy schedule. So it was great having you.
Ramadan शुरू हो गया sir. I'm happy. I got up early today.
Ramadan में भी आपने time निकाल लिया because I thought it's the first of Ramadan and might be a bit difficult for you, but you agreed, and it's a great session, and I'm sure a lot of individuals जिन्होंने join किया उनको काफी value मिली होगी. और ये recording जो है ये available होगी group के ऊपर, so anybody who has missed the session can always view the entire session. So thank you so much again, Tahir sir.
Mushfiq, just before you run away, can you summarize the importance of this document?
आपने जो end में explain किया, I've literally followed that. कि सबसे पहली बात तो ये कि इसको importance दें. Your profile and your skills that you've mentioned should complement each other. And then it should be 2 pages at the max, and you should tailor-made your CVs for a particular job. And don't lie, don't hide your gaps between the employment. So simple font, easy to understand. So that is what I have grasped out of this session.
We'll leave it at that. Now, I wish everyone good luck and Ramadan Mubarak, and I wish you all stay safe. हमारा जो situation London में इस time में probably similar to Pakistan. इधर से lockdown है. हो गया थी. In fact, I was not well myself for 3-4 weeks. I had the symptoms. My son as well. But alhamdulillah, we're okay now. हम एक दिन बाहर जा सकते हैं. We can exercise once a day, and we only go out if we're going to go shopping or emergencies. Otherwise, everyone stay safe. This is real. I've experienced the symptoms and I know what happened to me, and it's real. So when it happens to you, then you realize, हमारे जो friends भी है, families है, वो they passed away. Actually, वो fought हो गए. So please be safe. Remind everybody of safety when you're going to work, at home, your children, your family, and do take a bit of time to work on your CV and do send it to me for your free checkup whilst I'm offering.
Thank you so much, Jeet. Bye bye.
Okay, Allah Hafiz everyone.